I like doing this, it's fun. Okay, so, random cat. Cat wants to go out. Now that's dealt with. Hold on, cat. She wants to go out. She knows it's raining. She doesn't like the rain. Are you going out? She's not going to go out. She's just going to sit there for ages. Worry about the dog. Sniff. In or out, cat? Make a choice. She's in. What? Hey boys and girls. So, new video. Just prepping myself for Foam Fest. This probably isn't going to come out till after Foam Fest. I'm trying out a new microphone. We'll see how that goes. Right. So, this video is going to be about my Tommy 20. Did this for terminal infection 1. I basically rewired with, I can't remember what gauge wire, it's thicker than stock gauge wire, put a MOSFET on it and put an XT60 to use a 2S LiPo. It's using stock motors, stock flywheels currently. I've got some footage from terminal infection. Cut to that. So yeah, so with stock motors, stock wheels, stock cage, 2S, it's hitting just under 100 FPS I think. We'll do a crony test in a sec. Yeah, which terminal infection was 100 FPS limit. Worked fine, it's amazing, but it was last year sometime now, a guy called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Sumner Bird. I'll put a link to the Facebook post. He made new cages. This is the version 1. Basically, it's just adjustable. So this is, I don't know what crushed the original cages, but this I got friends to print in 42.5, I think this is crush. This was done quite a while ago. Then when I got hold of this one, once it was printed, Sumner came out with a version 2. Now, the one I have is a bit, guy that printed it for me, his printer kind of packed in towards the end, which is why the guide isn't quite complete, but I am currently, oh, it kind of snapped whilst I was filing it down, so I'm just waiting for some epoxy to dry, and I've made a top of a guide, so we'll glue all that together. So yeah, accuracy at the moment on it is kind of, it's all over the place. Like, you could dump all 20 rounds and not one go where you want it to. So hopefully also to help that, I've got some white worker wheels. I got some extra motors. These are Jackrabbit motors. I don't know if he's got any more of these. Jackrabbit, that is. I'll find out. Yeah. So yeah. So let's just test this with the stock setup. Well, stock setup. Oh, other thing. I put a rev trigger in because originally it had a on-off switch there, which now just acts like a safety. So I added a rev trigger. It's full on jank. When I open it up to show you the insides, like you'll see, it's, yeah, it's basically the Tommy Janky is what I'm going to call it. So, a couple of things. Firstly, I had to, you can see just there, cut away so that Nerf darts would fit, because it's Busby. Busby darts are not a lot, they're probably more like Zuru dart length, so they're shorter than Nerf darts, but I haven't done it the other side, which can cause a problem if the dart doesn't fire, because it gets caught up there and then the drum stops spinning, so I'm going to cut that out when I open it up. Also, another issue is, because Nerf darts are thinner, I think they're thinner, they must be thinner, you can see here, because they're thinner, they don't necessarily stay in very well, so I don't really want to be putting a load of brass in, oh, there I am, in all of the holes, because it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, we are going to do, I have not 20 darts, 20 minus 4 is 16. 16 darts. Let's see, that's still on. Just make sure it doesn't turn off a second. There we go. Let's have a look here. Already got a jam. One of the darts wasn't fully pushed back. So yeah, it's not the most perfect blaster. There we go. But it's a fun blaster. Alright, let's try again. Oh, one more. So, I don't know if you saw any of those results, but my aiming through the hole, my aiming through the crony was pretty awful, so the majority of those kind of hit the sides, so there was quite a lot of kind of 50s, mid 50s, let's, hold on, I've got a thing on this, I can do a thing, playback. Yeah, so there's a few 40s in there, an 82, and then lastly, so it probably wasn't hitting quite as hard as what I remember, or what I thought anyway. So let's say with fresh darts it's probably going to be around 80 FPS. Why not, with the stock cage wheels and stuff and a 2S. So, how do I turn this thing off? There we go. So, next, let's try the V1 Sumner birdcage. Forgotten or didn't realise. Firstly, all the electronics are on the side with the screws. Yeah. Which sucks balls for me, because if I can get this go back, I'm one of the people that leaves the screws in the shell so I don't lose them. So that's annoying. Other thing, the battery tray screw, trying to get the hang of this. The battery tray screw there also screws into this part on this side of the shell, which again, annoying. So as you can see, I've got my XT60. There is a nut in the battery tray screw, but it obviously can go into that post as well that I showed. My MOSFETting doesn't actually look too bad. Obviously that wire is too thin, but with the MOSFET it's not too bad. And somewhere around here there should be probably thicker wire. I'm sure somebody will shout at me somewhere, but it hasn't destroyed itself or me yet. And then that is the setup there. So we'll unscrew that now. Oh, before we do, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but you can see those wheels. Like, these wheels are bad, man. Really bad. Like, it's just a piece of plastic with some foam. I mean, it'd be good for grip, I guess, but you can see where it's worn. I mean, there's a gaping hole there. But yeah, so let's get the V1 cage in there, shall we? Okay, so I couldn't get the stock wheels. Stretch. I couldn't get the stock wheels to work. I should maybe have tried switching them around now I think about it. But there was the one this side kept catching. Now I've tried putting worker wheels in. And now I've tried putting worker wheels in. The other side is not spinning because it's catching on that bit. So I'm going to abandon the V1 cage for now, go to the V2 cage, finish the dart guide because I think the epoxy's dried now, and have some lunch because I'm hungry, and we'll see how that goes once all my tweaks to it are finished. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so it's the day after the day after. I had to work all day yesterday, so I've jumped straight to the V2. I've drilled out the holes. I put the motors in. The stock motors fit, like they fitted in the V1, but they're really loose. I tried putting a screw because they've got a screw hole. The screws weren't going in, so I'm just going to go straight to the full upgrade of putting the Jackrabbit motors on, as well as the worker wheels. The Jackrabbit motors are really tight in here, but I put the wheels on, tried to spin them. I've had to grind out on the insides of each of these posts so that the wheels can spin, because it was catching on the bottoms and tops. So I just filed them all down. Also, the cage is a bit wide for the shell that I have. I don't know if that's the same for every Tommy 20 shell. It might not be. So I basically, you can see here, it's not very pretty, but it's the jankiest mod I've got going, so I thought, screw it. So yeah, so now that fits in nicely. It's got screw holes there, so it screws to the shell, so it's fine. Hopefully, we'll find out once it's all together. So, right, I don't know where exactly I left off, but I know it was before Foam Fest. So it's now, it's April, isn't it? So it's just over a month and a couple of weeks after Foam Fest, which was amazing. I've got a video, there'll be a card. So I wanted to take the Tommy 20, like I said before. I think I put everything in, but I'd wired it up the wrong way, so the motor's the wrong way, so the wheels going backwards. Before I did anything, I checked with some friends. They said switch the XT60 connector over. I did that, and then I went to test it, and there was a lot of smoke, like a lot of smoke. Burnt the MOSFET. I think that's possibly the reason I didn't say to them I put in a MOSFET. So whatever, it happened. I got really annoyed, just threw it to one side. I was like, screw it, I'll take something else to Foam Fest. This was a few days before. He got to the night before, and I was like, I don't have to meet Andy till 1. So I had a few hours in the morning. I was like, I'll get up, I'll strip it out, I'll do a complete rewire, and see how I go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I did it, it worked. I got to take it to Quasar. It was amazing at Quasar, apart from just here. If you've got to be quite precise with your trigger pull, like all the way. Otherwise, the darts don't hit the flywheels. It kept kind of jamming, but all it was, I just had to pull out the dart or two that had jammed, and it was fine. It was a pain because it was dark at Quasar, but it worked amazing. Other than that, I put in the worker wheels, but I think it's a bit too hot. Don't tell the people that run Quasar. I've got the battery in. I've got some darts here. I've got the chronograph next to me. So it's going to be loud for headphone users. I can't get it lined up. Hold on. Let me pause this, and then I'll go over the data. So, battery is... I haven't charged it since Quasar, so it's got a vent use on it. So it's not quite as... how do I do this again? Here we go. Data playback. So let's have a look here. First 2 or 3 are those ones I did on the camera. I think 3. So then you can see as I get to it, it starts picking up. I mean, those are quite nice numbers because I was going to use it for... It's not pointing you out the window or at the cat. So I was going to use it for HVZ is my plan. It's the last lot I just ran through. Just give it a quick 16 just to give you an idea of the numbers I'm getting. So kind of what are we looking? Kind of 110s to 130s, but with a fresh battery it was hitting closer to the 130s. With Bristol Blast, there's a lot younger kids there, and I don't feel too comfortable pushing it that close, shall we say. So, my plan, put some blaster parts wheels in, because they're smaller diameter, they've got smooth edges rather than the serrated like the worker ones I've got in there. So it should bring the FPS down. So, cat's like, what the hell? So, reasons to put your wheels on before you wire everything up. Putting on these blaster parts wheels, I have broken off there. Yeah, you can see that. So I'm going to need to resolder that on before I can show you a test with it. These blaster parts wheels are really tight. I don't know if it's because they're like brand new and they've been sat in a cold garage, so they've shrunk a bit. No, they haven't. They've been sat in here for a bit, because I've been meaning to do this for like a week now. So yeah, probably just because they're new, those worker wheels came off quite easy that time. I've taken them off a couple of other things in the past, so because they're older, I guess, stretched out more, as they do. Also, my Janky... Oh shit, that's alright, that one was already broke. My Janky repair broke taking the wheels off, because they were tight. So my soldering iron is out in the garage. It's raining. I've got work in a bit, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna have to do it probably tomorrow. Yeah, I could do it tomorrow. Okay, next day. Soldered that wire back on. The motors, got the blaster parts wheels on. Pack of fresh darts. Got the chronograph set up how I had it yesterday or a few seconds ago. Let's get that away from my fucking nose. Yeah, so just finished loading this up. It's got a different sound slightly with the blaster parts wheels. It does say on their package that they're for reduced noise or something. I don't know how true that is. Sound of a cat bugging me again. Let's turn this on, because obviously I didn't turn it on. Why would I? Come on. Okay, now I've got issues with the chronograph. Give me a sec, I'll run the numbers through and then we'll talk about it, end it, whatever happens. Button, that button, play back. Okay, so I ran about the same number of darts as yesterday, and there, and there. So yeah, it's consistently in like the kind of like 100 to what, say 120 probably, which is a much more comfortable numbers for me for where I'm going to be using the blaster. So yeah, overall really happy with my Tommy Janky. I just need to trim out that little bit there at some point. But yeah, stick the little dart guide lid on there, though I don't think it makes a... It probably helps, but I don't think it's massively, you know, detrimental to its performance. Yeah, so... coughing. So yeah. Ring my bell. Because I'm just doing videos as and when. There's no regular schedule here. I've said my Instagram link below. I'll have a link to the post where you can on Facebook where you can get it's got the Thingiverse. I might just put the Thingiverse on there as well. Link for that, for the Tommy 20 cage. I'd highly recommend it. I mean, for HVZ, this is probably the best. The closest thing that Nerf I think's ever done that I can think of off the top of my head is the Fearless Fire, which you can't get that anymore. Yeah, it doesn't take much to make this thing pretty awesome, and people won't expect it. You show up with that thing, they're going to be, what the hell? And then